Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we are looking at my aggregated wild snapshot number 5. This is a snapshot where we take tier lists from popular meta reports and aggregate the data together to get an overall picture of what the wild meta actually looks like. So in front of us we have Tempo Storm data. We've got tier S and 1 combined together, so we have Snap Warlock at tier S for Tempo Storm, Secret Mage and Odd Rogue at tier 1. Tier 2 we've got Reno Mage, Mech Paladin, Reno Warlock, Reno Priest, Even Shaman, and Evolve Shaman. For Vicious Syndicate we have Evolve Shaman at tier S. Now there is an asterisk next to that, and you'll see that next to a couple of the Vicious Syndicate lists, because they don't have enough data to properly place it in their tiers. So Evolve Shaman is one of those. In tier 1, Vicious Syndicate has Odd Rogue, Snap Warlock, Odd Paladin, Mecha'thun Paladin, Secret Mage, and Cube Warlock. Again, there's a star next to that because we're not able to know where to place it. So I'm not placing it at the bottom of tier 1, I'm just making a note that we need to make some adjustments with our aggregated data. For tier 2 of Vicious Syndicate, we've got Even Shaman, Reno Mage, Darkest Hour Warlock. Again, not enough data for that specific archetype to be able to place it properly. Looking over at Rank Star, we have Snap Warlock at tier 0. In tier 1, we've got Secret Mage, Mecha'thun Paladin, Reno Warlock, and Odd Rogue. Lots of decks sitting there in tier 2 for the Rank Star report. We've got Reno Mage and Priest, Cube Warlock, Evolve Shaman, Shudderwock Shaman. Now the reason the double asterisk is next to this, and this is the case for all 3 of these meta reports, Shudderwock Shaman's kind of in a difficult spot classifying because you've got Reno Shudderwock, you've got Mill Shudderwock, you've got Evolve Shudderwock, you've got Traditional Shudderwock, you've got Quest Shudderwock. There are just so many, and so I am just going to call those decks Shudderwock Shaman and just lump them all together. Next we've got Even Shaman, Mecha'thun Warlock, Jade Druid, Odd Paladin, and Reno Hunter. We've also got a variety of different decks in tier 3 and tier 4. One thing I want to note is that in this aggregated snapshot, we're only including decks that show up in 2 or 3 of the reports. So if there's a deck that only shows up in 1 report, I don't include it. So now that we have all of our different tier lists, we then want to add tier scores onto them. And so if we look at, for example, the Tempo Storm tier 1. Now, I'm still treating tier S as tier 1, because typically a lot of these reports, they'll make something tier S just to make a point that the deck's really broken and needs a nerf or something. So I'm still going to treat these 3 decks at the top of, at tier S as this is the top tier 1 decks. So we average out the score, for example here for Tempo Storm, from 1 to just under 2, so that gives us these 3 scores. If we look over at the Vicious Syndicate rank or tier 1 tier scores, notice how it's going from 1 to 2 for these first 6 decks, but because the Cube Warlock wasn't able to be placed properly, what we've done is we've averaged out this score based on the previous scores up here. So this number is the average of these 6. So if we scroll down here, we can see we've got all the different scores placed out. Again, the Darkest Hour Warlock has to be averaged out for the tier 2 decks. Same thing with Jade Druid for the tier 3. And then for the Vicious Syndicate down in tier 4, they've got 4 decks that they couldn't place because of lack of data. And so I've just averaged them all out over these 5 decks that were able to be ranked. So now at this point we want to eliminate any sort of bias from the these different meta reports. So we now combine the lists, remove the organization's name, and sort everything by deck. So we start with Big Priest. This is the beginning of the alphabet. We don't have any A right now. For example, Aggro Druid, Aggro Shaman aren't seeing enough support right now. And so we have all of these listed out in alphabetical order. Then what we do is we calculate our tier list. And the way we do that is we look at how many times the deck has been mentioned. So for example, Big Priest has been mentioned 3 times. So we average out these 3 amounts add them up, divide by 3, or just use the average function. For example, if we look down at, say, Murloc Paladin, Murloc Paladin was in the rank star and it had low data for the Vicious Syndicate report. It didn't appear in the Tempest Storm one. So for the Murloc Paladin ranking, we only add the 2 together and divide by 2. So we have these tier scores for all of our different decks. And now the fun part is we sort them by their tier score. And this brings us to our final tier list, our aggregated meta snapshot. So I have reintroduced a tier S because there is a significant jump between the Snip Warlock score and the Secret Mage score. We're going from a 1.11 to a 1.46, which is a very significant jump. So we've got Snip Warlock, everyone's favorite deck, sitting in tier S. Tier 1 is made up of Secret Mage at the top, followed by Odd Rogue, Mech Hunter Paladin. At tier 2, we have Evolved Shaman at the top. Keep in mind that Vicious Syndicate having this at tier 0 influenced this placement quite a lot. We've got Reno Mage followed by Reno Warlock. So interesting to see how Reno Mage is about 0.15 score better than Reno Warlock. There's always kind of a debate between these two. We've got Even Shaman, Cube Warlock, Odd Paladin, and at the bottom of tier 2, Reno Priest. Moving into tier 3, we've got Jade Druid, Darkest Hour Warlock, Mech Hunter, Quest Mage. I should note that this Quest Mage is the traditional type, not the Reno type. We've got Reno Hunter, Shudderwock Shaman, Murloc Shaman, Mecha'thun Warlock, finishing out tier 3. Finishing up this aggregated snapshot at tier 4, we've got Togwaggle Druid, Thief Rogue, or you might see it sometimes called Burgle Rogue, Murloc Paladin. I should mention that this is a Tip the Scales build of Murloc Paladin, Pirate Warrior, and everyone's most favorite deck, Big Priest, sitting right at the bottom of tier 4. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video of my creation of a aggregated meta snapshot for the wild mode in Hearthstone. If you want to leave a comment below and let me know what you think, if there's a deck list that you'd like some deck codes for, let me know in the comments. And if you want to continue supporting this channel, if you're not already, you can hit that subscribe button. Lets you know when the latest video goes live. So until next time, hope to see you again.